question. What's the
That's
need for it?
right.
That's why you get the doll study, trying to examine, like, you know what I'm saying? What would make a black child think that a white doll? But so I'm saying, like, before that, they weren't even asking those questions. So anytime new questions are asked, new theories and idea has to be formed around those ideas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And to say that, I mean, there's an argument that you're saying, Logic, that's correct, that yeah, they were probably pushing up against frameworks like universal cultural theory. Um, but that falls in the tradition of a lot of the thinking as it at that time to really universalize quite a few concepts and key terms that was describing, some of the work. Racism, they did create a very universal definition to support their argument of racism. Paul Gilroy was one of the leading scholars to really push this racial essentialism into the discourse of racism, the definition of racism, to create a dynamic where anybody can fit within the realm of racism. And that was a counter narrative and a counter argument to the leading construction of racism that was pushing its power dynamics and power analytics into the definition that was based on historical data. You had economists, you had some politicians, you had social commentaries, you had psychologists, you had sociologists who are all the kind of starting to move into this direction of defining racism from this structural analysis, that you can't separate racism as a practice from how it manifests in politics and economics and government and these systems perspective. And so there was a narrative to say, well, we don't want to accept that power dynamics of racism. We want to look at it from this framework that it can be universal and anybody could be racism. And so you had, this trend of thought that even, quite a few people, I'm gonna say Kimberly Crenshaw falls into that to some degree, that anybody could perpetuate this idea of racism. Now she's might be a little bit more controversy in supporting that, but she picks up some of the same language and some of the same concepts in some of her writings and her speeches that you can hear put forth by Paul Gilroy, who again was one of the leading scholars talking about racial essentialism as being a core tenet of racism. And so you're seeing these different arguments and frameworks competing with each other on what racism is and who's classified as a racist. It was much more clear in the 60s and the 70s on who was a racist. But as the 70s and the 80s and the 90s started rolling around, it became more complicated, and people and scholars started to put forth different arguments on what that framework means. And so again, we're here in the Discord having a conversation on who could be classified as a racist, and it depends on what of the three, four, maybe five definitions of racism that you subscribe to in order to place someone in that framework.
I just believe they muddy the water so much. That's the reason why we have the problem.
Right, right. And
Yeah,
let me
I was able to look up like well, there are some other fields that openly reject it. There are some other branches of psychology that openly reject it. There's even one about Aboriginal psychology. It talks about trying to view psychology from their cultural lens. You can see that.
yeah, you have to like show it to me. I dropped the link in this Discord and tagged you in it. It's from the National Library of Medicine. So I'm gonna read the story, the part that deal with anti-blackness in psychiatry and psychology. So this is the National Library of Medicine. This is written by the psychologists in the field and people in the APA, chastising the APA and critiquing it, right? So I'm gonna start where it says, and Bembe posted that it said, in the broadest sense, interventions against non-Western people were driven by two assumptions. Non-Western populations should be like us, and two, non-Western peoples are not capable of being like us. So black people in particular bore the brunt of this surveillance and control within the United States where the political economy relied heavily on the enslavement and dehumanization of African people. So it said the perceived inferiority of Black people guided the development of psychology and its use on these communities, leading to the use of psychology in the acculturation of people to Western capitalism and white supremacy. Like that's coming out of the National Library of Medicine. I dropped a source in there so you can kind of get a good understanding of it. But that's a good place to start.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't have to
Now,
rely
Thank you
even
for
with
on you
that
don't
this
have to rely
source.
on
racial,
Black scholars. You don't have to rely
even
on
with
Black scholars. All that is from them in the field, and they source Akbar and Nobles and other people of Black mass studies, so forth. So go ahead, Express.
Absolutely.
even with the racism, and there's a reason why I won't let people tag me into this time argument, because the time argument is too much of a blanket, and it actually works in reverse, because you start giving arguments for it kind of goes into, then if I accept that time argument, then we got to start having conversations about Hitler and this person and that person and Mao, and what did they do because of the time. So that's why I stay away from it. Not that it's not a valid conversation to have. The other part is, anytime you blanket an entire race's identity into a specific thing that isn't true at all, that's racism. Now, there's different forms of racism. So I think that might be a better conversation. I don't think in the 60s and 70s we had the power or any kind of like, we could be prejudiced, right? But we didn't have the power to actually say all white people were this, and then start making legislation or start, changing things. But now, Mujasi, and just so we're clear too, this is gonna sound crazy, but I hope to you it might not. If I say Frances Cress Welsing was racist because her theory was racist, right? I don't think that that's a bad thing. Do you get that point? Like,
I do.
I'm
I
not I'm
do.
not saying
It's
that
weird.
she's
I do. I get
yeah,
what you're
yeah, okay,
saying.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, I'm saying what she was doing was wrong, but I completely understand it. It's when someone tells me that she wasn't racist just because they thinking the slave master on the plantation or Shockley. That's not what I'm saying. That's why I say some of these arguments got to be separated. I fully understand why she did melanin theory and white genetic annihilation. I understand it, but I can, in this very same voice, say it was racist. But that's what she needed to do. That's what she wanted to do. Would me in 2025 say, because she maybe should have done something different? Yes. Am I qualified to tell her what she should have did? No. It's just I saw what other people did in the time that had the same education as her, and I think it was just as effective. That's why I always call out Kenneth and Mamie Clark. That dog test still resonates today. And if they would have done that in an unscientific way, or done it in a more of a malicious racial essentialist way, then I don't think it would still have the same power today, similar to white genetic annihilation and melanin theory. It's not relevant at all today, other than grifters and pseudos who want to take advantage of Black people. And that's not even what she meant it for. So when I say that she's racist, I don't want you to think I'm thinking Klan or something like that. I'm thinking more along the lines of, it had a flaw, and it needs to be recognized that somebody got to say it's not real and actually call it what it is, so that when Umar does it on a stage and starts grifting and selling tickets and making money from it, somebody can say, yeah, that sounds amazing, but it's not real and it's racist. And then I think that's how you would help people more today.
Let me ask you this though: Do you think that like I can say something that's racist or can be considered racist, but that wouldn't necessarily make me a racist?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and then you like even with policy, right? There are policies created that they may end up being racist because they end up affecting a particular group, right? But it doesn't
Hmm.
mean the person was racist. So
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
looking at that type of separation, right? And
No,
then I
Yeah.
want to say also
Yeah.
like time matters because like you know we don't consider Nat Turner what he did in killing white children, you don't consider it as a racist act, right? Because of the times. You know what I'm saying? Right? Nobody called Nat Turner a racist,
Well, the people that
Right.
right?
was, well, the people that he was killing at the times, it wasn't racist because the people that he, if there were black people that were doing it, he'd have killed them too. So it wasn't targeting white
Always,
people. It's just white people were.
no, he was, yeah, I mean, but we think he was targeting white. We're not gonna change. I mean,
No,
maybe
no, no,
it
no,
was
no.
not.
What I'm saying, no, no. I understand that. What I'm saying is the reason why it's not racist to me is because it's not like he targeted white people. White people were the people that were doing it. They were the only
It's
people that could do it. So he didn't. There was no one else to target. There wasn't no Chinese. There wasn't
not,
no
but
this, that, and
it
other.
doesn't matter. He's not racist because of they say that he's not racist because it was liberation. It was rebellions, right? So when you name people like Hitler and Mao, like those are like oppressive forces. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You
but
got to look at the cons of the people being oppressed is not judged the same as the one doing the oppression. So
yeah,
that's
but
why the
Hitler.
time matters.
Reason why I brought up Hitler is because Hitler felt he was fully justified to do what he did.
Yeah, all do, even Thanos.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
he
I'm saying?
based it off of what the Jews were doing to them. And then when he got into power, his party got into power, that was his form of retribution, but he felt fully justified. That was the
Yeah,
whole
most people
thing.
do. Yeah, most people do.
But we can't say the times. A German can't come to me and say, look at the times.
No, the time. No, I'm saying, but the time is relevant. That's why other scholars who may have said racist thing had racist ideas. They don't label them as racist because they understand the condition that they're in, and they give grace because these are the people are being they're oppressive people. You feel they're being oppressed. They're not the dominant society. That's why they get that grace.
And my grace is, I understand. Mind you, this is my opinion. This ain't a clinical thing. I'm just saying, my grace is recognizing it for what it was and leaving it right there. Not to like in hindsight, I could say she could have pushed the melanin theory forward or something like that, but she knew it wasn't scientific, so there was no point in that. Um, but I don't. I guess there's levels to racism, right? So I just don't look at her as Shockley. Shockley is different to me. Now seeing them both on the same stage, I can see just in that. I'm gonna watch some more stuff, but just in seeing her on the same stage with someone, I don't want anyone to think I think that she was him, even if they were saying
Right.
the same thing. That was a higher level of racism. I can't explain it, but when you see them two juxtaposed, he was different. It was different. It wasn't just because he was white. He was the way he was talking about just dysgenics. In 2025, it was weird to hear him say the word retarded. Um, it was just the way he was talking. You couldn't even tell if he was telling the truth when he was talking. Like even when he
I
was
tend
Crowder was trying to get him to be kind of come closer to the middle, and he was really right wing, and then he was trying to go further right wing, and I don't know. He was a slippery paws motherfucker. Fuck William
I think
Shockley for the record.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think what you seeing and observing in that debate is a clear distinction between even the conceptual definitions of racism and what racist is. And that's why it's hard to pin Dr. Wilson down as a racist because Dr. Shockley was a pure white supremacist. And he was what at that time in the 70s, a modern white supremacist. And then it shows up differently in the 80s and it shows up
A
differently in
liberal.
the
He was
90s. He was
he
a
was a
liberal,
liberal
right?
white
Yeah, he
He
was
was
a
supremacist.
a liberal.
liberal white
His
supremacist of that
his
time.
words were
And
motherfucking
and here's the
words were.
crazy thing. He was on the fringe still because there was still a level of white scholarship that was shifting him to the side and said he's extreme. He's a little fanatical. But you had people who agreed with him, who were supporting him. You had Dr. Arthur Jensen that came out publicly, Dr. Richard Land, Dr. Charles Murray. He didn't publicly come out and say, I support him. But some of his work in hereditarianism around the IQ can be questionable, and whether or not he was kind of like a scholastic mentor to Charles Murray. And so there's some pieces in that where you're seeing this connection of how
Let me get that out the other one.
he shows up
Mute
as a
your mic, Logic.
racist compared to how Dr. Welsing is using race thinking and logic to make her argument. And so there's a book that I seem like I'm always throwing some books out. Mahmoud El-Khachi, he got a book called The Myth of Race and the Reality of Racism. Phenomenal book, short read. I think it's probably like 120 pages total. And he breaks down in very simplistic terms the difference between the idea and race thinking, where we construct just some ideas around race in the language, and the reality of racism, how it manifests politically, economically, socially, blah, 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 institutional. And in that piece, he makes the argument that it's difficult to separate historically, based on the data of what we have from historiography and politics and everything else, that you can't separate racism from white supremacy. It's difficult. So when a person shows up and they're expounding these ideas that positions inferiority and superiority, when it shows up in a Shockley, it's clear. It's hard to put a Welsing in that same in that
It's
same
not
type
that
of
hard.
framework of
Pause.
perspective.
It's not that
Um,
difficult.
but when I look at Dr. Welsing and I'm saying like, okay, she's within the realm of using language and she's trying to justify certain sciences, um, certain certain positions where she's making an argument around these concepts that can be supported in race thinking. It makes her look like she's a racist. If you put on that type of lens and have that type of definition, she looks like she's supporting some black superiority over this genetic white inferiority, but it's within the realm of what she has been taught, the type of logic and race thinking that she was using at that time. So for me, she doesn't qualify as being a racist. She's not supporting this black superiority, nor does she have the power dynamics to enforce her ideas on the broader globe of America and subjugate white people into some black superiority type of model. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't
Well,
fit.
no,
And
it
so,
most certainly fits because it's clear if you watch the debate, she fought race. And I don't even want to talk about Francis because this is what's going to happen. Hold on, Mujasi. I just want to just say
yes,
something. What's
go
going to
ahead.
happen is we're talking about Francis Cress Welsing again because we want to. I'm responding to what y'all saying. I really don't even want to talk about her. But
Absolutely.
since we're talking, I'm assuming we're talking about racism because every day is, it's us. But this isn't me. I'm just responding. Um, Mujasi, listen. If you're arguing that white people suffer from a genetic deficiency, which produces a deep-seated fear of genetic annihilation, that's racism. If Shockley says it in the reverse, that's racism, but we can see the difference because he has the power behind his racism. But they're both racism. Now, if you might want to play around with maybe the word the intent. Her intent is maybe not what he was doing, right? But at the end of the day, just calling it racism, and I told you I don't have a problem with it. But if you're tying morality and behavior, you have to call out any time, specifically a doctor. Now, and that's I guess the difference with me. Specifically a doctor, a clinical doctor that knows better, that knows the difference. You have to call it racism because once you start allowing that, it's not going to stay. If we, not saying if we let, I'm not qualified to let or stop her do anything, but if we just look past a clinical psychiatrist, black woman, eloquent, and just look past her tying morality and behavior to a race, then when does it stop? Because at that point, then a senator. Now you would have to try to explain to me a senator can do it. If they were black, a mayor could do it if they were black, a governor could do it if they were black. I'm not talking about these simple people talking on the street. I don't care about them. If you got a doctorate, feel better. So you can't. So I'm not saying you can't, but you just shouldn't. That's what you got the education for, specifically in psychiatry. So she used race to fight. She used racism to fight racism, and I don't blame her because that man standing in front of her, at least she didn't hit him or start beating him up or arguing and calling his mama's names and all that. They didn't do that, but it is racism, and the fact that you won't call it racism, it means that for some reason you can't. It's like you can't accept that this person on this level, you think you should fight racism with racism. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but when you looking past it, remove Francis Cress Wilson out of the equation.
Here's the thing, though. Question. I think the better question was, Brad, that is if she's
somebody
not
got to mute out. This shit is irritating me.
Joey Backroom. Yeah, if she's not viewed like that, right? If we look in encyclopedia, we look in different branches of different subject in academia. If she's not considered that, right? The better question is like if she's considered that in academia, you can just point that out, and then we could just be over with, right? But if that's your view, right? How do you feel about it? But she's not viewed like that by others in the field, right? Right. So you would have to examine. Well, why don't they do that, right? So your gripe would be more like, why aren't what am I missing? What am I possibly missing that make them judge her differently than I am?
Yeah, but academia, she was policed for right. Okay, academia doesn't. That's why I keep separating the public speech from the books, from the lectures to this. For what she did with the ISIS papers, academia did react. Howard got rid of her. They got rid of her for the writing of the ISIS papers.
No,
but
that's
academia is
not for I say for color confrontation theory.
For color confrontation theory. Okay,
essay.
That was in the okay.
Essay that she presented to her peers.
What'd you say?
An essay that she presented to her peers.
Okay, so that's what got it removed. But they're not gonna. They don't usually police like just a public speech, and it's cool that you said that it was peers. When she did try to present this stuff as to her peers or went for peer review or whatever, I'll look into it. I wasn't prepared to talk about her today. I was actually going to try to revere her today based off what I saw last night. We in this conversation, but they don't publicly police just regular speech. But when you put some shit up for, she did get punished. Academia did punish her for trying to put that forth through in academia. But here's the thing: the people that she was.
She just presented it to the people. She presented it to her peers. So yeah, I'm saying okay, she got punished. But I'm saying why is she not labeled racist? Because I mean but I don't. But that for the idea that she had, right? She would monitor those ideas, but you also have to take it to the fact too that it's 70 the backlash that may come with that. Like sometimes just because the controversy that come with that, all that shit plays into it. Right, it's still a power dynamic there. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the key though, right there. The power dynamic. The reason why they call academia would call somebody that was saying the things that she was saying racist, or they call that person racist, is because what they're saying is about the oppressor to the oppressed. So if what they're saying is supporting the oppressor, and it's something that, how can I let me rephrase this? If what Shockley was saying was racist and considered racist at the time, because what he was saying, hold on, was supporting the oppressing class. His theories, his ideas, whatever the hell he was doing, was supporting the oppressive class. Now he's seen as racist now, maybe not at the time, but he's seen as racist now. What she's doing as the oppressed class, and what she's saying, I'm sure that they would more frame it as pseudoscience then, right? Because she's not in a position of power. She's not in a position to where what she's saying. No, listen. but we're in 2025. So I'm not saying this then. I'm saying
No,
reading
I'm not.
this now.
Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, that's the misstep that we have. I'm not judging her. I wouldn't even do that. I'm not judging her in 2025. Like I'm saying, I'm judging her. I'm doing it from the time. Like I said, anybody could be a racist. That I can make Nat Turner racist because of the time. Because he just slaughtered white people. So I'm
No,
saying
no, 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 no,
I
no, no,
wouldn't
no, no. I'm
can't
not
hold
saying
people
I'm
out
not
of their
judging her
time.
in the time. I'm not, and I'm not judging her at all. I don't even like that language.
Right?
I'm
No, I'm
giving
saying
my
that would be
opinion.
like going back when it was okay, back when it was culturally acceptable to go out drinking with a girl and she'd be drunk if you have sex with her, right? I wouldn't be able to go back and be like, well, you raped her. Based on 2025,
In
you know what I'm
2020,
saying? I couldn't do that. I
But
have
did he?
to have to
But he did
deal
though.
with the
See what I'm saying?
no.
In 2000, no. Knowing what we know
That
now,
falls under the lines of
knowing what we know
no, yes,
now.
you can't.
No,
We're
listen,
doing
I'm
different
just trying to
things.
flesh
Yeah,
it
you're
out.
doing different.
Knowing what we know now, when the date rape thing, I gotta stop saying that word. When that came along, um, you wish that you could retroactively go back and fix it, but it was always that. It just wasn't called that. So if a guy in
Well,
19, but whenever the law,
Because you always been
that's
a
the
piece
date.
of shit for that. You know what I
but
mean?
yeah,
Like
that's what I'm trying to
it
say.
ain't
Like
never been a
if
time you
Well,
ain't
hold
never
on.
been a piece of shit for it.
yeah,
Now
but
you
that's
Hold
might
on.
not have
But
been a
hold on.
rapist back in the '90s, right? But you still would like your homies was like at least my circle would have been like, bro,
no,
she
yeah.
was drunk as hell, bro, and you went and you did what?
No. Not necessarily take advantage. No, I'm talking about like right now, Corey. If you go, both of you
Don't
go
use that
out,
word no
right,
more.
and you get drunk,
Just make something else.
but
Like supplement the word. You get banned. You get
Oh,
struck
we
for that
like
live.
word.
right now, if
Okay,
you go
I
out,
didn't know we was live.
right now, if you go out, right, and you have a sexual encounter with a young lady,
Yeah.
right, and she wake up and claim that something happened, like even if you both were intoxicated and you both of you out of your mind, responsibility falls on you. Like it doesn't matter what your state was. The fact that she was in that state and she makes that claim, you're guilty.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't
Like
know that.
I don't know that to be true.
I didn't
yeah,
know that. But I
there's
mean,
no
if it's true, it's
you
true.
both
But
were
I just didn't
I
know
just
it.
didn't know
Like
that
I'm
to
not.
be true.
Yeah.
I don't,
there's no we both
It's
would have a
funny the
little
two
bit.
married
No.
guys is the ones that have no idea what you sickos is doing
Yeah.
in the
Even
streets.
listen, even if she consented to somewhat, she still is not liable because she was impaired.
Yeah.
so
Thank God for
But
weddings.
both of them grown, right?
Yeah, I'm
Hey
only talking
Corey,
about
we
grown
won't
folks, Corey.
understand.
I'm
We
only
won't
talking
Huh?
about
understand.
grown folks.
Corey, we
I'm
won't
only talking
understand.
about grown folks. Please, Corey. I'm
The
only
the
talking
the,
about
the,
grown
da- the
folks.
I
dating
just want
scene
to make
is
sure because
apparently
see,
quite
when it comes
disgusting.
to grown folks, I don't have a lot of empathy for grown folks. Right now, if motherfuckers is drunk and listen, both of y'all drunk. I don't even want to go in there. Give another example, Sosa, because we going down the road. We done went down a whole
Yeah,
nother
y'all
rabbit
done went
hole.
down a
Give
rabbit
another
hole with
example.
that metaphor. I'm
Yeah,
gonna redirect it back just a little bit because
Yeah.
yeah. Get
I'm
it
trying to
back. Get it
explore this
back. Get it back.
concept, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, really?
I think
On the topic. Let me say. I wanted to say real quick. I'm sorry, Mujasi,
yes, sir. Go
but
ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I watched the video. I watched that video, and boy, that white man was pretty blatant. Pretty blatant, right? Now,
Very.
now I will say let me say this because y'all actually kind of helped me with my decision on it, right? Now, if she was gonna present that to her peers, like with the response she gave, like you know what I mean? Like that would have been probably cringy, right? But right there on that show, the response she gave was called for. Like I could you know what I mean? Now, it's a little cringy because she's a doctor, but I don't think she was being, I don't know that she was being a doctor at that point. I think she was being a black woman at that point. You know what I'm saying? She
She
didn't
not
have
on
her
the show
doctor
just because
hat
she
on.
black. She on the show because of the PhD.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
It's
regardless,
both.
You only
Both.
own the show.
regardless,
We're live
listen,
on mic.
yeah,
And
whatever.
then,
Both.
but I wanted to say, and I'm sorry, Fetty, but the white man with the white man was saying, Fetty,
Charles
I
Murray.
thought about
Charles
you.
Murray. I
I
swear to
thought about,
God, Bell Curve and Charles Murray.
and this
Corey,
ain't no
we caught
shot
it at the
though.
same time. We caught it at the same time. Bell Curve, Charles Murray. I swear to God, that's what I.
And
As
then he
soon as he
started talking
started
about
talking,
you need to get the gene. You got to get
yes,
rid of that gene, right?
yes, bro. Oh my God.
Automatically, like, hold on. So what is he? What does he say? She thought about
You saying get
sterilizing,
that dope hand gene.
But that's
right?
what
Yeah.
I was saying earlier,
Where
Corey.
her brain went was the sterilization, right? But
Because
my
they
brain,
had done
I
it
don't think
already.
that's what he was
Because they were
saying.
doing that. No, because they
Yeah,
had already
they were
used
doing
the
that.
sterilizer. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But I don't think that's what he was saying, though. You know what I'm
Oh, he
saying?
was saying that. He was saying that and some. So that was on the table. Yeah, don't think
Okay,
that was.
okay.
Yeah, that was on the
See, that's
Oh,
table
the
too.
thing. When we
Yeah.
when we
I was
follow the
thinking
tradition,
more like we need to dilute our gene pool with another gene pool, right? That's what more I was on the line along the line of what
when
I thought he was saying.
That's
absolutely,
But
right.
Corey,
He did say
Corey,
something
you
about
brought it home.
reproduction in that show, didn't he? He did.
No,
Corey
he was
brought it
talking
home.
about dysgenics. He started the show off with dysgenics, and
that
he
was a word
says the
in there.
word. Yeah, he says the word curve. That one of them diagrams, but it was so old you couldn't really see it. But he said that white people and black people they do learn on a curve, and the thing had like a. That's why I'm sitting there like, is he like Charles Murray, uncle or something?
No,
Because
he's
But,
not
that's like
trying to
the
but for
tell
whole.
the
y'all.
record,
He's
That's
that
the
just
was
whole
not a
point.
shot, Fetty.
listen.
For the record, that
Betty
was
go.
not a
Oh,
shot.
Betty gonna come back.
No, it's
Betty
not
gonna
a
come back
shot.
with
It's
that.
not a shot. Listen, if you look at the traditions of scholastic mentoring, especially when you're studying hereditary discourse on race, you see Charles Murray is almost like the stepchild of William Shockley. Like
No
he's a
question.
stepchild of Richard
Yeah.
Lynn. He's a stepchild of Arthur Jensen. And one of the co-authors of the Bell Curve, what was his name? Richard Herstein. He was a very public supporter of William Shockley. And so he's one of the backings behind the Bell Curve, but he supported William Shockley in his point of view. Like there's no disconnection from these people. Philip Rushton, Christian Brand, these are all Canadian and UK psychologists that was very clear about their races, white supremacy, and hereditary discourse on IQ testing and these pieces like that. And I don't go down that rabbit hole, but they're all connected on an academic level. They supported each other. They were public. They had some strong views on these things.
And they got
So it's not
strong financing and funding because they were the system of
absolutely,
power. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And so when
yeah.
we're looking at some of these pieces, and I'm gonna digress from
Can I
Dr.
say
Wilson
something? Two
because
seconds.
as
I need 2 seconds. I need 2 seconds because
okay,
we live.
okay,
No, I just need. No, I'm not even gonna
yes,
talk.
sir. Go
Literally
ahead,
need
go
two
ahead, go ahead,
seconds.
go ahead.
Sosa, don't bring up Nat Turner. You made me go down a rabbit hole. Nat Turner, what Nat Turner did and what Francis Cress Wilson did was
Not
slick,
on the same
but it
level.
ain't
Yeah,
even close. It ain't even
yeah,
No,
in the
I
no.
did.
same.
No, 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 no. I did
It
not
wasn't a good
compare them.
metaphor.
Oh,
I just
y'all
wanted
always
two
do that.
seconds.
I did not
I just
compare them. What
wanted
I'm
two
saying is that
seconds. I
let me
I
just
just took two
let me
seconds. Let
explain before
Mujowski
you
reclaim his plane. Because
nah, but you
I
can't
just did something
misrepresent
and
my
that was
argument though.
filthy. That was a
Let me
filthy
go next,
discourse
Dan.
that you just did
Let me get a
to try
follow
to
up. Let me get
say,
a
okay,
follow up.
yeah, two
Go ahead.
seconds because
Go ahead.
we took the
Go
floor
ahead.
from him.
I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna be
You know
quick. Go
what?
ahead.
That was dirty
I
discourse.
lost I lost my thought. I'm excited to hear Sosa break that down and
Jeez.
explain that. So go ahead,
Yeah,
brother
that was
Sosa.
dirty. Hey, Mujowski, I just read it, and while you was talking, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, I said, Sosa just did it again. Sosa will take you in deep waters with these analogies and comparisons because he
The
studies the brain,
metaphors.
and I can't keep up in real time. That's why I got to go get my brother
That
five.
was
I
my
just call him
analogy.
five now. Yeah, I got to go get my brother five. He was
No, my
four, now you five.
the drunk
That's
date
a
was my
dirty discourse.
analogy. The
That's
drunk date was
dirty.
my analogy. That was natural wasn't my analogy.
Okay, do the Nat Turner piece. Break the Nat
Yeah,
Turner
you
piece
said what
down.
he did. You said what he did and Welsing did was the same. But you know
No, I
about
never said
liberation
that.
theory. Yes, you
I
did,
never
bro.
said
You
that.
said
No,
we
I
don't call
said
him a
that.
racist, but
No, I
liberation
said
theory
that.
makes him not a racist, though. She don't got that.
No, what I said was that um if you look at what Nat Turner did, he can be considered racist, right? And the reason I say that because we were arguing one time, me and Kent, over race, the strictest definition, and race as a presence and power, as a power system, right? So even within ChatGPT, in the strictest sense of racism, I got it to say that Nat Turner was a racist, using the strictest definition of racism. Because I was arguing that that strictest definition of racism is not a good barometer to use at that time. So that's why I would say that's what I wouldn't say they
Mm-hmm.
what they were doing the same thing, because Cranston West ain't kill nobody. I would never.
So
That's apples and oranges. Apples
by
and
the
oranges.
academic
Jesus
definition of
Christ.
racism, hold on. By the academic definition of racism, Nat Turner's revolt wasn't racist. It says his motivations were political, theological, and liberation focused. He was enacting the hold on real quick. It says the distinction is this. Racism is a belief system that one race is inherently superior, inferior, leading to structural oppression. Turner's rebellion was a violent resistance to the systemic oppression motivated by the system's actions, not a belief in hierarchy. In liberation theory, this is when I realized what you was doing, what you was trying to do to me, pause. In liberation theory and critical race scholarship, scholars state oppressed groups resisting oppression aren't classified as racist, even if they target the dominant group, because racism in this framework is tied to the institutional power. Under a strict philosophical, and this is my land my plane. Under a strict philosophical definition, racial prejudice without regard for power, you could argue Turner held views about whites, but he wasn't engaged in a system that was going to enact structural racism. And he did a violent revolt against the thing that he was fighting. So, Welsing's racism, I want to stay on this. When you start putting immutable biology onto a entire race, that's what I mean when I say racism. Do I agree with what she did? No. Do I agree with how she fought? No. Do I understand it though? Yes. It's when y'all tell me that you agree with what she did, y'all are okay with what she did, and you understand. It's like there's no pushback. Anybody with half a brain would see, and there's no, I'm not talking about y'all because we also lie, can see that they were both using racism against each other. It was just he said one thing, she said some racist shit. He said something pseudo, she said something pseudo. What I liked about what she did though, and the reason why she looks the way she looks, Mujasi, is because you can see the power behind the dude. You can see the white supremacy behind what he's saying, because at the time there was legislation involved, there was a power dynamic, there was institutions behind what he was saying, and it was just her fighting him with racism. But anything that she was saying, it had nothing behind it. No institution, no power. It wasn't even scientific. It wasn't even clinical. With him, we had already had drapetomania and all of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but power don't matter. No, I think I don't know. I might have can't.
In racism, power matters.
Power,
because
see,
in racism, it does.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you say it does, that's what I'm saying. If
Yes,
that's the case,
in racism, power does matter. It's one of the. It's what makes it. It's what makes white supremacy. It's the power.
Right. So then that goes back to our other argument.
No.
But
How
can she be racist?
You said racism doesn't. No. Stay with the power dynamic. I don't understand what you mean by that.
Here.
Power don't matter.
So then, so then one can argue that she did not have the power.
Okay, but she was
so
still.
That's
but what? No. I don't have no problem with that. No. I don't have no. Bro, there's black people
care.
all
She should have said everything
country.
she said on that panel.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. We'll move on from that, but I don't want y'all to think that
my problem is
everywhere.
when she starts saying it to black people, right? Like if you up talking to a white man, right? Fine. You say all that shit and some more. You bring Sarai Sudenseti with you. She should have brought Sarai Sudenseti.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
But when
you
gotta
gotta bring somebody with a doctorate in psychiatry that won't lose their cool, that'll speak. You can't put SETI up there. Then we'd be no different than Sonata.
I don't know. I was hot. I was
Yo, but
heated.
do you
I was in the
understand? You
shower.
understand my point,
Listen,
though,
Brad,
Corey?
I'm getting
Corey.
ready for work listening to this shit, right? When you went live, I was getting up, getting ready for work when you put that video on, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hot. I'm steaming in the shower, nigga.
I apologize.
Nigga, I was steaming, nigga.
I apologize. But no, we couldn't have did a side. The beauty in the debate is her eloquence and her grace and her patience and her composure.
Yeah.
And then you see the doctorate behind it. That's why when you hear I think that's why when I hear the words, they might bother me more than somebody else, because I just wish, I wish she wouldn't have fought with a pseudo argument or a racist argument. I wish she wouldn't have done that, but I can't even really focus on that because of how she fought. It was just too, it was just beautiful. And then the camera work. I think I said that. Well, I think I put that in the chat. The camera, even at the time, you could see how the media was trying to make her look crazy. That's why I said you don't need a Cyrus suit set. Because most of the time when he was saying stuff, they had the camera on her. And she just have a little grin or a little smile. But imagine Unc or Cyrus Sunseti up there. We'd have looked crazy as hell. Unc would have cussed him out.
Can I take a stab at it? And you tell me if I'm wrong. I could be mistaken, right? But I feel like maybe
I know you about to say something.
For me, this might be more for me. But I'm about to say something crazy, gang. Get ready.
I know.
I want to feel like our best are just as good as their best. Yeah, I want to feel like our best is just as good as their best.
Yeah,
so
but he ain't
I can't
their
see
best.
Francis as being our best.
Corey. Hold on. Say that again. I want that to get just so I'm clear before anybody says.
I want to see
they don't
our
consider
best.
him. They consider him wild as fuck.
That's
White
exactly.
People thought he was. No.
Exactly.
Let him say his shit, Corey. What did you say though?
I said I want to see
best.
our best
Is that
as good as their best. No. I want our best to be just as good as their best. So we can't be calling Francis Presser one of our best if you know what I'm saying, she in the chipping circle, you know what I'm saying, doing that crazy shit.
Who called her our best?
That's what we said we get in the argument.
But who called her our best? Who said Francis Presser was our best? Nobody. That's
nobody specifically. But
wait, no. Nobody specifically. Then explain who did.
I'm trying to quantify this because, like, I'm not gonna say she's not significant.
One mic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say she insignificant. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was it. What's up, Sid?
Shouts to you, Sid. I didn't even know he's in here.
Significant.
Yeah, that's just me trying to. I'm trying to summarize it, right? Like I can't, based on all of that, I can't put her with our best. Like that wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So in that attempt, I'm just examining what she said, how accurate it is. I you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see her as our best like that. So
nobody was. I don't know. Like I said, you would have to challenge the person that made that claim.
I think I was more speaking to like.
Yeah, I had a
I don't think that you're necessarily.
So y'all want to put it on Mount Rushmore? Maybe I'm a fallback. Mount Rushmore.
No way.
That's how these conversations go. People like, so y'all want to put it on Mount Rushmore? Like somebody said that.
All right, cool. Maybe that's a mute point. Cause I could have sworn that was related to Brass's point, but if nobody sees it, cool.
No, it's not that I don't see it. I just don't consider, and this is no disrespect to the sister, I don't consider her at the time. I mean, because remember, not for nothing, this is also TV. So they could have got Williams, they could have got Clark, they could have got William Cross. And then the guy was having a genetic argument. They could have got Johnson. What's the other guy's name? You brought him up the other day. Cobb. They could have got Cobb. So there was a bunch of black people at the time they could have got. I would assume to make for good TV, which they did. I don't know who did the guest list, but I'm sure a white man representing a wild statement in regards to wild theories in regards to white supremacy and genetics in black people and white people.
We see
it
the
really
opposite side
looked,
of the coin.
it was striking. Yeah, it was striking that it was
Yeah,
a black woman with a doctorate.
Well,
On that stage, that
while
you
I
know what I'm
know,
saying? That kind of
but let
thing.
me
while I know nobody's
yeah.
openly saying she's one of our best, but some kind of way she makes the list of elders, and them other people don't.
I don't consider any of the
Go
elders
ahead.
our best. That's why I always highlight our actual best. And I just named our actual best. Robert Williams could have mopped him up. Cross, Kenneth or Mamie Clark could have wiped him up with actual science. She got up there and did the pseudo thing, but that's what she do. You know, that's how she chose to fight that time. So there we have our best, and then we have
You're just best.
these
You're
other
best for the
people.
time. Best for the time. The time there'll be people getting better and better. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So,
but I'm saying for the time. But she ain't even
so
in that. She's not on that list.
I'm not saying she's on
That
that
means who
list.
I'm
was the
telling
best then?
Logic.
In
I'm
the
telling
sense, who
Logic
would have been
she's
our
not.
best?
Logic says she's.
No, I'm not
we
saying she
consider
on the
that.
list. I
Nobody
was just
like
wondering.
nobody elevated that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like
Well, Logic
nobody.
just did. You just said nobody elevated it. He
I'm saying
just
nobody
said.
said that she on the other end. Like his response was something that
Yeah,
he thought that we were implying.
No. He said. Did you finish? Did you hear his last
maybe
word?
not.
He
I'm
said,
just
even if we're not saying that's her, that's. He said, and I quote, shouts to Logic. He said, I know y'all saying that we don't consider her the best, but I think y'all still consider her the best. That's why I'm addressing that.
Right. I know
I
y'all
don't know.
not
I don't
saying.
know.
I know
I
y'all not
agree with I
saying
agree
it.
with Logic.
But
I
what
agree
y'all
with
really
Logic.
saying
Hold on, wait.
is,
Let's say, wait. What'd you say? You agree too?
I agree with Logic. Hell yeah.
you
This
think the
woman
I'm
book,
That
saying,
this
we
woman book was a
in this chat
bestseller,
are at the
bro.
time.
And,
no, hold on.
and
You
like
think
I,
that
I don't
No,
think
let
I'm
him get
gonna
his.
say it
y'all
again,
Let him
bro.
are
get his
saying
thought
that.
out.
You
Let
don't
him
have
get
to
his.
know you don't have to know a Cress Wilson, but you know about a goddamn melanin theory. Every black person in the motherfucking America knows something about that shit. I'll stand on
no, I'm
that.
saying, are you talking about the
So when
people?
you
Because we're having us
go
in a
ahead, Los.
conversation right now that's having a conversation. Are you talking about a niche like
That's
that's what I'm
besides the
saying? Like,
point.
no, I'm saying Logic is saying Logic. You referring to us,
No, I'm
right?
not saying. No,
Like y'all got
no.
me.
When you
Man, you
when
know
you
what? I'm
Talking
off
about
it.
the
Now I'm
time.
confused. I'll just let y'all have it.
No, Logic. Okay, wait. Before Logic, you say that. When you say that people
no, I'm
consider
not talking
their
about you.
best, Logic. When you say people, no, said when you say people that consider Francis Cress Wilson their best, who are you talking about? Us or black people at the time?
Talking about everybody.
Okay, I figured
I'm
that's
more
what
so
you're
talking
saying.
about
Y'all
people
keep.
who call them their elders. That's more so what I'm talking
Whether you know it direct or not, we took that shit and we adopted it as culture. We think our
Okay.
melanin got some special shit to it, and I don't want. And if anybody's saying differently, then they lying.
Well, I'm not lying, but I got you.
Yeah,
I can't
I
possibly
would
take our
actually source
melanin.
up.
I wouldn't even
So I
fight
think
this hard if I thought that
Go
was
ask
the case.
your people in your household.
No, they
See
probably
what
don't.
they say.
My people in my household do not even do not like my household don't know nobody don't know Chris Wilson.
I didn't
It's
say they
only
do.
But
one
my
person.
That's
but
not what I said. That's not what I said.
Listen,
no, that's
only
not what you
one
said.
person said something like that
I
when my
said go
baby
ask
mama
your
said,
family
"Listen,
about hey, what do you think about your melanin?
And
Ask
my
them what
no,
they say.
and he's right. He's right.
in my household,
He's right.
no.
You're
Like
100% right
my
on that.
baby mama said something similar, said something put on the COVID shit. Like, yeah, I don't need it because I'm black and I'm built tough. I politely cussed her out, and she wouldn't got her goddamn wouldn't got her shots, bro. Like, but
And
that's
somebody,
That's
and
a hood
somebody very
story.
hold on, but Zed,
that's not a thing in my household.
but hold on.
I
So
guess
somebody very close to
we
me,
must be some Toms because I don't know
somebody,
none of my family know none about that shit.
you pseudo killing niggas in this
Like I
Tom
said,
shit.
they may not know Fresh Crust Buster by name, but they've heard of something about melanin. I promise you.
No, whether they
And,
heard
and,
or
Somebody
whether
very
they
and,
close
and,
didn't.
to me was
and
so
the answer
so.
not
I
gonna
might be
be
wrong.
to protect me from
Somebody,
the
no.
UV from the sun. That
They
ain't what the
said
answer gonna be.
you're not wrong. You don't even got to defend it that difficult. There are some people that have watched and heard some of the shows in my family that have heard this shit. I'm having this conversation now. That's why I don't be want to talk about it. Motherfuckers with educations and everything that did not like they're not geneticists or biologists that was telling me how the fuck you didn't know that your melanin was powerful. That's what makes you fucking special. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say?
Hey,
And he said, no,
I
that's
gotta
what
know this
makes
shit,
you.
man. I gotta find out.
I don't know. It's just
Oh,
I
listen,
keep
most of
hearing
the
like when
people
you
ain't
said
gonna tell
Tom,
these
this shit
people
just gave me a
that.
flashback.
Walk
They
down
never
the
had
street.
the
Like the
conversation.
fourth pseudo
Tim,
killer that then used the word
you
Uncle Tom
know
in the
melanin
past
is
4 days.
He didn't say Uncle Tom. No, he said
all y'all
time.
bring it up, if
He
all
didn't
of
come
y'all
about Uncle
bring it up
Tom.
in y'all
I thought
family,
he said Tom.
they, they gonna say the same thing. If everybody bring it up in their family, they gonna say y'all just ain't had
Yeah,
the conversation yet. That's all it
y'all
is.
were right.
You know,
Y'all were
right?
right. She
Like,
knows what that shit is.
yeah,
No,
motherfuckers know
all
about
my
that melanin
everybody,
shit in
everybody.
black community.
Oh, they may have maybe have heard about it because, like I said, you got show that has been set in. If you watch Baby Boy or something like that, but in terms of actual belief, fuck no. Everybody don't go to the hospital. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
but
I'm
that's
die.
not
scared to
what
ask
was
though.
saying.
No,
Though
you don't go to
you
the
adding
I'm scared to ask.
you adding an extra utility to it. I'm talking about these people have drawn this like the real melanin, the real what it's protection, what it's actually doing is not what we consider it for. We consider it as some special shit, bro. Like I don't know why we playing around. Shit crazy.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
we
Well,
I
we
gotta, I
got
gotta,
I
I
to
gotta
disagree.
agree
disagree.
I
with
That's
disagree to
bullshit.
bullshit.
disagree.
I gotta
I
The
agree.
disagree to
board
disagree.
across the
I agree
board.
to disagree.
That's where I stand on that. Like
Yeah, that's
Y'all
across the
it may not
board.
be in your household, but it's a
show me data.
majority
I
of
gotta show
households.
me some data
I gotta
now.
go
I'm gonna
find
ask for
out.
data.
No, see, he
I
go
can
to
show
no,
you
y'all
Instagram
niggas
with
look.
Don't
See,
be
millions
your
of
show me your
cousin's
source.
house.
That shit
Go
don't
go to
work
your
in real
cousin's
life.
house, Joseph.
I
And
mean,
ask
Show,
your
we
show me
had
some
cousin.
data. Go get a
a
source. You
bunch
can
of
ask my grandmother
anecdotal.
for data and a
Your
source.
That's
cousin
all
your
anecdotal.
cousin gonna be looking like you crazy.
a
We need
million,
Like,
a
oh,
a
you ain't
million.
know?
Hold on, you telling me
we need a black survey.
A million Instagram handles with melanin in it is anecdotal?
Nah,
No,
but
he
You
people
wasn't
can
talking
find a
nah
about that.
million
because all
Instagram
no hold
handles
on,
with
hold on,
that shit
hold
in
on, hold
there,
He was
on.
talking about something else.
Yeah,
He was talking
but
about something.
yeah, but
and that's
all
their
but not
name. I'm
everybody
talking
that,
about
that no, everybody that say melanin is not just Francis William because some people like
man.
melanated has
You
become a
saying
different
Francis
term for
Wilson?
like black like no, you like nah hell no y'all just stretching this shit. Man. Melanated
No,
people, you
they
know, see
hearing it
black
from the
people.
people who
Sometimes they be.
heard it from Francis Cresswell.
Yeah, they
You
spread
know
the
what I'm
message. They
saying?
spread the
I'm
They
not
gospel.
saying.
they third party hearing about it. You know what I'm
So is
saying?
it?
Type
So
shit.
y'all kind of is the so you switching it to like people have heard it, or you switching? Or you talking about people that believe? Because we having two different conversations. I want y'all to
No,
stay
they
where y'all
No,
believe
at.
it.
no, I
No,
said
it's the same
believe it.
thing.
No,
If
listen,
they heard it, they
so
believe
Hey,
it.
Sosa,
let me
Sosa.
say this.
Go ahead, Chef.
Yeah, I think that they're saying that whether they know it's Francis Cress Welsing or not, whether they heard of Francis Cress Welsing or they didn't hear Francis Cress Welsing, we saying some of her kooky theories is still in our community, regardless of where it came from. You know what I mean?
That's not an
So
argument.
this saying niggas don't know her, so it don't matter. No, but her theories is still in our fucking community.
Yeah, that's
That's
not an
the point,
argument
I
though.
think.
Yeah, I'm not even arguing
Oh,
that.
I think
Everybody
that's
can
the
agree
point
with
that
that.
they're trying to make. Yeah, I
He's
No.
think
saying that.
that's
Watch your mouth,
No,
Chef.
As soon as you go to your
he's saying
cousin's
that.
house,
right.
you ain't gonna be arguing
He
with
is saying that everybody, most black people that holler at melanin about their skin, believe it. Believe that
No,
melanin
I'm
has some type
saying
of.
they do.
He just
They
said
do
it. Just
believe it.
No,
so.
I'm
Hold
saying
on,
they
bro.
do.
I get it, but just explain. But I'm just saying to Chef, you're not saying the same thing that they're saying. I can agree with what
No,
you're saying.
no, I'm
Jeff
If
saying
put the
Chef
no.
extra.
I'm
actually
Jeff put
articulated
sauce
hold
and
on,
on.
hold
presented
on, hold
how I
on, hold
feel
on, hold
that
on. You
He
do
um
seasoned.
know
He
the
put
majority.
seasoning on that shit, bro.
Hold on. But Sosa, you do know, and this is why we get into the biology and the genetics of
Nah,
things.
stay where we at.
I
Stay where
know,
we
no,
at.
hold on. I
Don't
know
start
I'm
trying
not speaking
to wood.
specifically to you. Just remember we live. I might say your name, but it's
But
also to
no,
the
are
chat.
you saying the same thing Chef said? Stay right there.
What is
We
Chef
agree. We
saying?
all agree with what Chef said. It's in the community. People have
yes.
heard it. They don't know
No,
from
I
where. We
agree
all
with that, and
agree.
I'm
That's
adding
been
to
my
it. Wait.
sentiment
I
this whole
agree,
time.
and I'm about to add
No, we
something
already
to
I
agree.
it.
don't like
No,
the
you
way
took
you
the extra
stated it.
step.
I don't like the
Y'all
way
No,
took
you
I
the extra
am. I
step,
just
bro.
said, hold
What
on.
was the
I
extra step?
agree,
Because I
and I'm about
cleared
to
up.
make okay. I agree,
It's
and
recorded.
I'm
It's
making.
recorded.
Hold on. I agree, and I'm making the extra step that they heard this shit, whether they knew it came from Francis Cress Wilson or not. They heard it, and then I'm taking the extra step of saying they believe it.
Oh,
Because the
I'm right there
majority of
with you.
hold on, the
I'm right there with
majority of I ain't gonna say black people, just people in general aren't scientific. They're unscientific. They're not biological. They're not biologists and geneticists, so they don't know no different. So
But
hold
they
on.
stupid.
So when their grandmother told them what their grandmother told their grandmother, and before that, that they are special because they melanin and this, that, and the third, they don't know. They're not gonna go look to see. They're not gonna watch a show. They're not gonna look it up. They just believe that they melanin makes them special. So that's not all her fault.
All
It's
right.
not all
So
her
right
fault,
there.
but she
Why
has
would they look up
responsible.
what's
Hold on,
relative?
Corey.
Why would they look up
Did
what's
your grandmama?
relative?
Did your grandmama tell you how special your melanin was?
No, but what
Is
I do know,
anybody in here, grandma? My
no,
Why are
grandmother.
you
I'm
using
saying,
grandmother? Why you just?
it's
Because
not.
you
Now you're
supposed
adding
it.
extra stuff
No,
to
but
it,
I'm
bro.
saying like
melanin.
You're adding extra
it's
stuff
okay.
now.
Someone in their family. Now say that.
Yeah.
Okay, what if they? I mean, like you wild
That's
as
some
hell.
new.
Your
That's
argument
new
style is weird.
age.
We
That's
acting
new
like
Yeah,
this
age.
is
they
something
got
new.
into it
Y'all
like
acting like
their
this shit just
grandmother
came
did.
and went and died out with her book and with her. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Y'all
like
playing
Man,
it
around
don't
now,
gotta be
bro.
no,
specific for
Y'all
somebody's
playing
grandmother.
around, bro.
Yeah, you
no,
definitely playing stuff. So
y'all
that
changing.
argument is
Y'all,
weird.
I
No,
ain't
I
playing.
said
Y'all changing the argument.
grandmother meaning someone in their
Y'all saying
family
most
said it.
black
They
people
wife could have said it. They brother
you
said it.
Yes.
always got.
Anyone could have
I'm
said
not
it.
gonna let y'all. Y'all
You
say
know
it
that
because
you gotta
most
be
black
specific
people.
in this community, Brad. You,
Damn right, Corey. Y'all
No,
say
I'm
that.
talking to
Well,
if
the
you say
weird
y'all
ass.
saying that
Yeah, I
most
know
black
who I'm
people.
talking to.
Nah, because they saying Corey that
you
most
gotta
black
stick
I
people.
to
didn't
that.
say black people. I said
Because
people. I didn't say
no, we talking
black
about
people.
Franz Cress Wilson and melanin.
No,
Just
but
said
no. I said that
said
this is a
most black
conversation
people.
in the community, not the black, not specifically the black community.
So your
I'm
cousin
saying
don't
the
believe that.
melanin. Most people
So
aren't scientific. They're not gonna. When someone says something, how many people see something on
So
Instagram
listen,
and then they send you
so
a text saying, you know, you can
Brad,
if you do this and
I
that.
get it.
They don't know. Okay,
So
so don't say
when
black
you
So
say
you
people.
ain't
most,
got no
so if
cousins
it's
that
most,
believe that, Sosa? Ain't
no,
no
I'm
none
saying
of
I
your
do.
cousins believe that.
I'm saying I do. I feel like I got like one
Okay,
crazy
so
cousin.
all
We all
do.
do.
That's what we saying. All
Hey,
we
hey,
saying
Sosa,
is
somebody said something
Nah.
to
we
you in the
all in the
chat.
same boat.
Sosa,
That's
someone
it.
said something to
Hold
you
on,
in the
bro.
chat. Hold on.
I can't get distracted about it right now, bro.
No, stay
When
right
you say
here.
most
Does black
people,
don't crack count? Does black don't crack count?
nah, I mean that's all, man. I don't think
I
she
know.
ain't
I'm
been
just
that.
asking. I'm
Yeah,
just asking because they're
no,
trying to
that's
figure out if somebody says
Man,
something to
listen,
them. I'm just saying. And
a white boy said,
Sosa's not whatever. I think black don't crack does count.
a white boy
Go ahead.
said to me, black don't crack before, bro. He was
yeah.
like,
It just
I told him
that's
how old I was,
a
and he was like, no,
stereotype.
I can believe it. He was
And
like,
they
oh,
think
Yeah,
that
that's
your
okay, so you
skin,
agree.
somehow we don't age as much as they do, simply because of our skin, simply
Yeah.
because our color.
no,
That
no,
we
no.
don't
I think
age the way white
there
people
might.
do, simply
Hold on,
because our
there is
color.
that's a stereotype, but I don't know.
No,
But there may
we
be
done adopted
there may
all
be
type of
something.
superpowers to the shit now. We got all type of
There may
little myths and
there
sayings
may.
now.
Hold on, let's get back on track, bro. There may be something to that. I don't know for sure, but if you look in the dermatology book, right, there are advantages for having darker skin. There's more
Uh-oh.
advantages for having
See,
darker skin than
there you go.
having white skin. So just
And there's
look in the
disadvantages
dermatology book
But
too.
it ain't
and
got
see
nothing
if
to do
that.
with
Yeah, but I
aging.
don't want
There's
to.
None of them have,
disadvantages too,
and
though.
none
So
of them
you
have
just
anything
proved
to
that
do
the
with
melanin
aging.
theory was
I'm
Not
not.
one of
That's what
them
I'm
have
saying.
anything to
I
do with aging.
don't. Right now, I haven't looked into it. I don't want to get distracted
I
with that.
just
Y'all got
did.
me thrown off on some crack on crack.
That was that, and
Yeah,
that
but
was
I
my
don't.
whole point. I'm going on mute.
Hey,
That's why I
He
did it.
I'm not
got
gonna.
a point. He got a point. So let's look at this. So check this out.
I'm,
So
I
what
done got
Sosa
lost.
is
Y'all done spun
saying.
me around. They got me, Corey. They got me.
And I did
Hold
that shit on I did it on purpose. Go ahead, Chef. Fuck with
on, but he got a point, right? Because if you look at it, the reason why those Khoisan tribes they age more, like they got more wrinkles, is because they got a lighter skin in a harsher environment. When you look at the other darker skinned people around them, they don't show the wrinkly skin at certain ages the way that the Khoisan and them do, right? Because they're darker skin. You know what I mean? So it definitely, has some advantages.
But that's just in UV. Hold on, but
Point.
that's just in. Would you agree? So I mean, Chef, because I'm trying to throw
Black
shit
don't
off
crack
some
like the
more.
Khoisan.
No,
Them
listen.
Bantu niggas that live next to the Khoisan don't. Their skin ain't all wrinkly and fucked up like the Khoisan, and the
But
Khoisan is lighter.
melanin's actual scientific benefits is always a UV benefit. So we just talking about a UV benefit. That's that.
It don't
But
crack.
when your parents
Black ain't
but
cracking
when
like
you
the
Yeah,
right, that's fine. No, we just talking
yeah.
about
So
UV benefit.
let me.
But I'm talking about
Yeah,
when
but I'm
when
gonna
an
read it.
African American says it to another African American, or anyone in America says that to an African American. They look at your grandmother and say, "Black don't crack." They ain't talking about the fucking Khoisan. They don't know who that is. They're literally saying that your 80-year-old grandmother don't look like my 80-year-old grandmother. She look like she 100, and it's because you're melanin in your skin. That's what they're saying. They're not talking
All
about
right,
poison.
so I'm gonna read it.
A lot of times in these conversations, y'all scientific literacy fucks up y'all common sense brain.
Right. All right, so I'm gonna read my
that's
scientific
not a
literacy shit.
scientific statement.
So the question that I asked is there advantages to having darker skin and the wrinkling of the skin, right? 'Cause we're talking about black don't crack. So it's 'cause it's how you frame question, right? So it says, yes, there are advantages to having darker skin related to higher melanin content, especially regarding protection against skin damaging and aging. So it says more melanin for UV protection. Darker skin contains more melanin protection, melanin, which provide superior protection against the harmful effects of ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Melanin absorbs and scatters UV rays, reducing the risk of DNA damage in skin cells that can lead to skin cancer and premature aging. So the melanin content has an effect on the wrinkling of the skin.
The phrase black don't crack is often used as a compliment or point of pride, but if taken literally, it slips into Afrocentric melanin theory territory, where melanin is credited with abilities, anti-aging, superiority, intelligence. Dermatologists often say melanin gives a head start against sun-related aging, but it's not an anti-aging superpower.
Yeah,
My point is, no,
hold
my
on,
point is
bring it back.
they're saying it as an anti-aging superpower, not the sun, not all this scientific shit. Can we just have a cultural and political conversation without fucking sources for 10 minutes?
You just use a source because you use ChatGPT.
But
what
I
I'm saying
use
is this:
when
they say,
I'm not talking about the sun, I'm talking about a fountain of youth that your melanin.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point. Because when people say right that black don't crack, right? The cultural urban shit, they're not talking. Ain't got nothing. Your shit's talking about intelligence.
Believe it. The point is that they believe it, Sosa.
The point is that it is true.
That no, it's not true. It's not. Our melanin doesn't make us age slower. Is that how?
No,
it's UV and
not,
sun.
All right, fuck it then. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. It's not. No matter what y'all do, y'all.
No, you're not going to allow. You're trying to bombard me. I let you get it out, and you're trying to bombard my point about skin wrinkling. I just read about premature aging and skin wrinkling, right?
But that's they don't know that.
That's really what.
But the person that doesn't know that. They think that our melanin. You do know the difference between what's true, what's scientifically true, and what a person believes.
Bro, don't even come on. I'm not even gonna answer that question.
So if
what
you
I'm
know,
saying,
so if you know that, then you know what I'm talking about, and I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about what they believe. They don't believe that it has anything to do with the sun and the wrinkling and the disbursement of UV rays. They just simply believe that because we have melanin, we don't age as fast as everybody else. That's what I'm saying. Like we can do the technical cool. We're talking about the average person.
Right there. You made your point, right? So I'm gonna make my point, and then I'm gonna move on. Right? In a conversation, when you talk about a white person looking at a black person, they say black don't crack. Then normally when they say the crack is it's the wrinkling of the skin. That's what the crack is. So they're saying that you look younger than my white counterpart because you don't have the cracks in the skin, the wrinkling of the skin, i.e. black don't crack. And the reason that advantage is gained from you to people with less melanin count is melanin. That's what I'm saying. And I'll just leave it right there. We'll move on from there.
Yeah, we'll just move on. Agree to disagree on that. I think it's very simple.
I mean, I just read it.
No, I don't know. I know y'all. I know you are very intelligent, bro. Listen, don't take this as a shot.
I already knew it.
I already knew it. That's fine, bro. I know what you already knew. I just didn't want to go to the dermatology because I was talking about something else. No, I just want y'all sometimes to leave out of these conversations and just think, what does the average unscientific person think when they say black don't crack? They're not even always talking about wrinkles. Because even in aging, one person got a whole bunch of wrinkles. That could be graceful and beautiful. I've seen older black women with wrinkles, and you still say black don't crack because they're talking about beauty. They're not talking about wrinkles. They're not talking about specifically wrinkles. I don't want to do a poll, bro. I don't.
No, let's get it. No, because
how did we get here? We were
Because
talking
you
about
brought
something
up
else.
black don't crack.
No,
Because
I
you brought up
didn't. I said no. I brought
yes,
up
you
what somebody
did.
said. I brought up what somebody said in the chat, and y'all started
Which was
reading
black don't
sources.
crack.
And I'm trying to just have a conversation, bro. I just want to have a
Look,
simple conversation, a
I
cultural,
get it. I
political
get it.
conversation,
Because
not scientific. I
so
don't
not
want to.
that's
That's
so
weird.
I'm not
When somebody say
so
black
that's
don't
why
crack, and y'all start quoting
if you
sources,
just
that shit
right
don't make
so
sense.
bro, I'm not even using a source no more. What I want to get an opinion on is the idea of when not even the scientific one, the cultural aspect of when somebody says black don't crack, what they mean. Because under my impression, and this is not using my scientific pseudo killer continuity thinking,
You
my
said that.
black self, when people say that, I interpret that as meaning the wrinkling, because the crack refers to the wrinkling of the skin. And it's the wrinkling of the skin that makes a person appear to age, shows a person see that make them seem more older. So that's my unscientific interpretation of it.
Okay.
You're saying that you have something different, and I'm thinking
No, okay. Don't tell me
everybody
what
got to
I'm
agree
saying.
with me.
Don't tell me what I'm saying.
You just
I hear your
explain to me
point.
what you're saying.
No,
Y'all want
that's
me to
fine. But I
explain?
hear your point. I got
Corey,
your point.
So Corey, what's your opinion? What's your opinion when somebody says black don't crack? Don't give me the scientific shit. Just give me the nigga shit. What do you think that means?
So if it ain't scientific, it's nigga shit.
I'm speaking colloquial. I always be on nigga shit. Like I get like, cause we move past the, you don't want me to, I stay on nigga shit. So that ain't no
I'm just
extra.
talking about the average
Not
everyday
extra stuff.
person. That don't mean
The
it's nigga
average,
shit.
right? That's nigga shit to me. The actual everyday person, nigga shit. So Corey, how you see it, bro?
I'm offended.
So I just thought about.
Yeah, I'm definitely offended.
I think it was all of it, right? I think it's all of it, like the aging and the the wrinkles when they talking about that. When at least when the way I took it, from the white boy when he said it to me, you know what I mean? That was kind of the way.
You appear to be a lot younger than you are.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's
Yeah, go ahead and frame
Corey.
No, take Corey's argument and make it yours. Don't let him talk. Just start
He's saying even white people
Take what
acknowledge
he's
it.
saying. Just
It
take
ain't
what
just
he's
a black
saying and
thing.
apply it to your shit.
Corey's saying it ain't just a black thing. Most people understand that.
That is eight. That is
that's
aging. He
and
didn't
to
say
bring
right.
the spray paint back, we was talking about like whether our family members believed in the melody.
I was talking about black. The original.
And then I said a white boy told me.
Most of the niggas couldn't tell you what melanin is, so they probably not even talking about melanin.
Yeah, 100.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
They're probably not even talking about melanin.
No,
Most people not even talking about melanin when they're talking about black don't crack. You feel me?
I don't think that's the same thing
acknowledges,
necessarily.
like Corey just said, a white person told him that. So most people agree around the world that you can physically see that darker skinned people do not age, don't show the results of aging in their skin the way other people do. So it must just be common, Brass.
No, I said that. I just said what you said. I'm saying it ain't. When you start, wait, how do we agree? And you act like you just disputed something I said. We 100% agree. I said it's aging.
I'm just clearing up the conversation.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't never get hit by that. Get hit by it.
Yeah, no, we agree. I think it's specifically aging. I don't think it has nothing to do with wrinkles and disbursements, UVs, and all of that. I don't. The scientific part, cool. I'm just saying when they say black don't crack, it's almost like they think we don't age because of our skin color. Now I don't know. I've seen older.
That's kind of more.
Hey, chef, your microphone is bad.
Yeah. That's how I'll be thinking about it when they say it. Like,
yeah, they don't think
you know what I mean. But also the fact that, but I also consider the fact that I don't have wrinkles. You know what I'm saying? Like, also too. You know what I mean? Because when you look at a white boy my age, he pretty look. You could tell, or he probably looked older. You would guess that he was older.
Nigga look like a raisin.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Brass. You never noticed that
this ain't about
people
to be asking question Brass Day. telling y'all now.
But I think we was
Sosa
having two
already
different
got me.
arguments.
He
I
done
think
cussed
that
one of
was two
y'all out.
different arguments.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I
Go
done
ahead.
cussed one of y'all out. Sosa
Let me
already
just
got
pose
me
a question.
halfway to where I need to be. Go ahead.
Okay, let me pose a question to the chat. You never notice darker skinned people, their skin is literally less flawless than someone whose skin is not as dark? You never notice that? You never observe that?
What'd you say?
You never notice how healthy darker skin looks? When you see people with extremely dark skin, how healthy their skin looks? As opposed to someone
Nah,
who's light.
most
Now we
extremely
saying
dark
it's
people I see
healthier.
are ashy
Oh
as
my
hell.
God. Now
Yeah,
it's
most people when I see extremely dark skin, they ashy.
That's not a skin disorder, bro. That's not a skin disorder. That don't count. Don't do that, Brad. That's not a skin disorder.
No, I'm just saying.
That's
I'm not
people low
making that
skin.
up. Most I play sports. When we play football, we working out this, that, and the other. The majority of the niggas that was super ashy was the darker people.
Okay. Okay. And
Also,
they
having dark
declassify
skin
themselves
takes you
as
longer
skin.
to synthesize vitamin D, so you can develop deficiencies and bone cancers, all type of shit. There's
Yeah,
disadvantages.
it's down parts to it. I was gonna say.
Yeah, if you're in a colder climate with low UVA rating,
You
yeah,
wouldn't do good in Canada.
right.
But what is
A
this healthier
certain
shit? You
parts,
trying to say
certain
some
parts of
racist
Europe.
shit, Joey? I feel like you saying something racist,
I
Joey.
mean,
I
that's
feel
what I'm
like you trying
saying.
to say
Like
darker
if
skinned
you,
people.
Well, maybe I am
Yeah, I know what
racist.
you're doing.
I think what
My
somebody should
opinion,
do though,
in my
if you just look
opinion, when
at
they are
the
moisturized, skin looks better. I don't know if I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm just blinded by blackness. I don't know. But to me, it seems
Yeah, I
darker
know
skin
you. I
looks
know you. I know you're a super Negro. I know how y'all niggas get down. You're a super Negro.
dermatology book, like
If you the darker you get, you can fly now. You darker.
but damn there, huh? Damn
So,
there.
see, I know you are, bro. I know.
yeah,
Now,
it's really simply about like what causes what does the damage that makes somebody that makes somebody makes age seem more rapid. And you look into that. What
The sun.
protects you from that? Then I mean, it ain't that complicated.
Umbrella.
Diet, all type of
Umbrella.
shit. You ain't
Umbrella
never
protect
seen
you from.
Mr. James from the liquor store been drinking liquor all his life and look fucked up. You ain't never seen that nigga. Like, come
Yeah.
on, bro. We
Yeah,
done seen
no,
black
but
folks
hold
look fucked
on.
up too, bro.
You're not saying now y'all doing a 1-to-1. We're not saying that black. All right, never mind. Forget it. Go ahead.
We need to move
Well,
away
I
from black
move
people.
on. I move
Also,
on.
I said an umbrella can help
I
you
said
from.
diet.
No, I'm fucking.
This
So
something.
what we so far away from what the hell we was actually talking about? It don't. What was we?
I told y'all we was talking about the melanin theory. Y'all started talking about black don't crack. Y'all start having a whole different.
No, that was
argument.
somebody in the chat, but it was something before black don't crack.
Well, the conversation is supposed to be moving into mysticism in psychology. I think we just gotten the wrong direction.
Why is Naeem Akbar in the chat? I mean, in the title. Was he talking about Naeem Akbar?
We definitely didn't start there. We started talking about
No,
Francis.
No, we did start there.
Oh,
we definitely did
yeah, you
start
did.
off.
We did. Because I actually about ethics. Yeah.
Because I'm not.
Oh yeah,
I
I
said
read
I'm
your answer
really
about
not
the
even
ethics.
interested in talking about her too
No,
much. We done. You know what I mean? We done
no, but
explored that.
that white man, dude, he was pretty brutal though. Like I don't know, like you gotta be pretty disciplined to sit up there. I do got to give Francis Cress Welsing that. But now, like, let's get his ladies some credit here.
I told you her composure, her eloquence, her
Yeah,
grace,
that's
how
a
she
good
restrained
word.
herself. Yeah,
That's a good word.
she
Composed.
sat there and fought him with grace, eloquence, and still you could see
Composed.
the resistance in her and her composure. But it was still see, and then I'll get killed for saying what else she fought him with. But she also fought him with
Oh,
pseudoscience
she
and
brought a gun
racism.
to a gunfight. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
she brought
You know
and
what
I
I
don't
mean? She
blame. And
brought a
guess
gun
what?
to a
I don't
gunfight.
blame her, bro. I don't blame her.
Yeah,
I do not
there's
blame
power
her
when
for
you lie to
doing that.
yourself.
I
There's
wish she
power
would have
when
done
you're
something
lying to
else, but I
yourself.
don't
Shit.
blame her for doing
Yeah.
it. I'm sorry, what?
So there's power in lying to yourself.
Yeah,
There absolutely is, actually.
yeah,
Called irrational confidence.
yeah. Mm. There definitely is. Now, when you were saying ethics logic earlier about Naeem Akbar, I hope I ain't fucking up the conversation, but for some reason, this is on my ChatGPT. So, academia did not find, it says, his work wasn't in the realm that gets policed for ethics the same way. Akbar's material, like alien self disorder, chains and images of psychological slavery, or his ideas on melanin, are framed more as philosophical or cultural psychology and as clinical research. So because it wasn't peer reviewed, he wasn't presenting these as peer reviewed experimental findings in APA sanctioned journals. That's the formal apparatus for misconduct investigations. That's why he wasn't investigated for ethics. In the Afrocentric scholarship context, he grew up in the 70s, 90s Afrocentric movement in psychology, in Black psychology, which aimed specifically, and their one goal was to challenge Eurocentric models of mental health. So within that circle, his ideas were often celebrated as culturally empowering, but even they knew that it wasn't fully evidence-based, but that's not what it was for. Mainstream psychology didn't widely adopt his theories, but they also didn't launch ethics challenges because they were seen as outside of the scientific mainstream rather than a corruption within it, spawning a gray zone between ethics and ideology. So apparently, based on the times, they were looking for people to challenge these ideas. But if he would have tried to get it peer reviewed or turned into something clinical, that's when he would have got hit with ethics. So I'm assuming
But they
that's why
wasn't even
Welston got
considered
hit
it
with it.
in the circle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
so
why.
so basically,
I mean,
academia.
it's
Well,
outside of
maybe
the
fringe might
framework
be
of
the
peer
wrong
review.
word.
Yeah,
One mic,
yeah.
one mic, one mic. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just saying we kind of learned that a lot of the theories that those psychologists or psychiatrists, whatever one they are, put forth, a lot of them exist outside of the peer review framework anyway. So of course it's not going to get put up for peer review. There's nothing to review. There's nothing to review.
But there were cultural theories at the time and political theories at the time that were put forth for review. That was, if there were none, I wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right.
But the fact that there were, and people were focusing more on the stuff that wasn't clinical, even till today, and they're kind of leaving the scholars who went the other route outside of it. Maybe a better way of doing this would be to highlight the people who made it clinical, per se, took culture and politics and made it clinical, versus people who took culture and politics and just promoted it as clinical. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's recorded. So
Now that makes sense, because the people who would be clinical, they just took the extra step of letting academia scrutinize it. That would just be the difference, right?
right.
Mm.
In my opinion. My humble
Yeah,
opinion.
but so from what you read, they were already considered outside of academia. If you
Right,
read
but
that again, read that one more time for me.
Hold on. Which
Right.
part?
You just
Which
read
part?
it. This the last part you just read.
The last part?
Second
The
part.
last part
Second
was the Afrocentric scholarship context of ethics. He grew up, Akbar's work grew in the 70s and 90s. Afrocentric movement in Black psychology, which aimed to challenge Eurocentric models of mental health. Within that circle, his ideas were often celebrated as culturally empowering, even if they weren't fully evidence based. Mainstream psychology didn't widely adopt his theories, but they also didn't launch formal ethics challenges because they were seen as outside the scientific mainstream rather than a corruption.
That right there. They didn't. They was considered outside the scientific mainstream, so that's why they wasn't up for ethics. They wasn't even in the end. They wasn't even in. You know what I mean? So they didn't, because they didn't want it. It would have, otherwise they would have. The reason why they would have did the ethics, because it would have looked like corruption from within. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the next sentence you was gonna read, right?
Right.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think alien self disorder, that's what's kind of disappointing. I think alien self disorder, if he would have pushed it through, like, it feels so true that I think if he would have actually tried to push it through, that it's something that would help people in employee wellness legislation and mental health today, Black people specifically. Because I'm not going to say it's not, I don't know if you could prove it. I'm not a scientist in that way. But unlike melanin theory, the unlike Welsing's theories, that particular theory, alien self theory, it reminds me of how there's a theory called racial battle fatigue, and there's another one that's like a cardiovascular effect of systemic racism that were put forth as theories around the same time that were peer reviewed, run through the methodology, falsifiability, surveys, research, whatever, and they actually got it into legislation and got it into the workplace. And when you're suffering from these things, they got it in the hospitals. You can be treated for it, but at a bare minimum, they're not looking at you just saying you're a coon, you're just a kook or just a race. You're just crazy. No, like this is an actual clinical term. I think alien self disorder, had he went further with it, the legitimate way, not just the circuit, went the legitimate way, is something that I think should be on the docket. I just don't know how you would prove it.
So can certain theories be explaining group dynamics or how group psychology? You do what I'm saying? Meaning how people view themselves. Like what are the negative or positive effects about how a group perceives themselves, and how do they perceive themselves versus other communities, or if they're a minority community, how does the group psychology operate um, with certain beliefs far as wise the dominant society, right? So everything probably is not specific for individuals. You can see it in individuals, like with the dog test and certain things, but you also know that those things show across larger swaths of the population, right? So it could be group social psychology also, right? So I don't think that everything that he's saying had to be scientifically go through the scientific rigor, because some of it is psychosocial. You dig what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? And like you said, you could see it. You dig what I'm saying? Like you said, it's because you can see it. We see how people operate in certain, and we know that is of how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive the larger society. You're saying that are we saying that that's not psychological?
No, I'm
You know
saying
what I
it
mean? Like
is. No,
exactly.
I'm actually
So,
saying it is. I think. Go ahead, finish your point. I don't want to cut you off.
right. So it's like saying that he has he has to go through all of this other stuff to put forth for truth. You dig what I'm saying? And use all of his expertise to show that Black people been knew this about themselves. You dig what I'm saying? Now I'm bringing the expertise to show that we know we got a goddamn problem socially and psychologically, how we view ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that has a direct effect coming from slavery, Jim Crow, and all of the shit that happened to us dealing with the larger society. I think he was dead on. You know what I mean? I don't think we got to drag him through the ringer for not, you dig what I'm saying?
No,
Trying to get
no. I
funding
said
for
I
some
was
shit that
disappointed.
probably
No.
couldn't.
I would never drag him through the ringer. That's a wish. Like it's not. That's not like he was wrong for not doing it. That's just like if I could turn back the hands of time kind of thing. I wish I could have put some money behind that to get. That would have been like a financier. All right, cool. That's your theory. Let me help you get this into legislation. Let's get this out. However much it costs, because that's something. That alienation simply because you're oppressed that's something that, I mean, I'm not a scientist in that way, but psychologically, like a social psychological kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the having
Right.
effect.
Yeah.
And you see it.
Yeah.
Malcolm X
Like
talked
social.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, but it needs help.
Malcolm X said
What's
the
the matter
house
with Page?
Negro.
Yeah.
Remember, Malcolm X said the house Negro and the field Negro. He said,
Yeah.
what's the matter, boss? We see. You think what I'm saying?
When did you buy Joey? When did you buy Joey's microphone, Chef?
Oh, my shit fucking up like that?
I mean, your shit is fucked all the way off. You
He
sound
got
almost. You
Ngo, he
sound
got
exactly like
Ngozi and Joey
yeah.
microphone.
You got Ngozi and Joey's exact brand of microphone right
put together.
now. you got the Njozi.
And Joey.
Yeah, he got the Njozi microphone.
Got the Njozi mic. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I think, but still, even with him, I don't think I'm starting to think and reading some of those theories from that time. They didn't have the all concept or something, because then they still go and say all. So alien self-disorder, while it is helpful, it ain't all. Like, you can't get something peer reviewed doing that, or trying to put forth when you start saying all people in that, like, because that's just too broad. It's too broad.
All right.
You got to do
Can we
something
please?
that's like measured, some kind of definition.
Is my mic better now?
Yes, much better. I don't know what you had before.
Yo, that's crazy. So look,
I told you an hour ago.
So Malcolm X. I was saying Malcolm X has spoke of that same phenomenon, right? When Malcolm X said, the house Negro and the field Negro. You dig what I'm saying? And he said, what's the matter, boss? We sick? You dig what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you associate yourself, you know what I mean, with the other society so much that you think you them. You dig what I'm saying? You see W.E.B. Du Bois talked about that 40 years before Martin Luther King. Before Malcolm X said it. And Malcolm X said it 30 years before we heard Naeem Akbar say it. You feel me? So obviously it's something that we always kind of knew. You dig what I'm saying? But he was able to do through psychology, was able to speak on it a little bit more deeper. But I don't think none of them was confused about what they were saying.
Can we?
Hey, check my out. The haters of the bill. Yeah, you've been hating on us from the chat recently. So
can we read the universal cultural theory?
It's good to. We can't hear you, Tuck.
That was me. Can you hear me?
No. Tuck is talking, but we can't hear you.
We ain't listening to you, Logic.
we can hear you. We can hear you now.
I see.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? You can't see.
Jeff know me. Corey know me. We grandma boys.
I know you are.
I know you are. I ain't been hating. I'm just talking my shit. Being a chatty fatty, keeping the algorithm going.
I could dig it, G. I
ain't seen you in a minute, Tuck. What up with you?
Yeah, but Logic, oh man, you gonna have to do it, boy. Cause you just been going crazy.
Whatever, man. We might have to sit down and sit down.
You want to
sit down and
away. You sounded like
share that rack of ribs or something.
Hold on.
Like American Dream to me.
One mic.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, Tuck. Go ahead, and then Logic go.
No, I just call him American Dream 2.0. He don't got no respect for nothing black. He don't want to give nobody the benefit of the doubt that was black. They was all pseudo. I just been making my skin crawl for the last couple of days. That's all it is. I'm emotional, Logic. I don't care. I come in emotional.
No, I appreciate the honesty. Honestly, it don't have nothing to do with. It don't have nothing to do with them being black, yo. Well, you know what? Let me see. It has a lot more to do with they gave it to black people rather than them being black. Like, they could have been white and have done the same thing, and it still be just as egregious.
So where them people at? Where them people at you be talking about, Logic? I ain't heard of none of them. The white that gave it to black people.
No, I'm saying like the information, like the.
I heard what you're saying.
Hear me, because I heard you. So I'm saying, like, if it doesn't, it's not about their skin color. It's about their information.
Logic, it just sounds crazy when you only do it to the black people, though.
In
It's
this
crazy.
particular scenario, we talking about black people who brought it to black people
Of
without
course,
taking the
that's
proper
the only thing
steps.
that you talk about. That's the only thing I didn't heard you talk about, Logic, since you
Yeah, I
started.
mean, well, I feel you. I get
Yeah,
it.
oh,
I can see how it looks on the
He needs you to name some white folk that done brought pussy to black folks. So
yeah,
Leo
right.
Wiener
It'll
gonna
make
have
me
to
feel
get
better.
gonna have to
Corey.
work
It'll
on
make
that
me
logic.
feel better.
That's the psychopath.
Yeah,
It'll make me feel better,
I
Corey.
got you. You want me to be
I hear you.
The
I hear you.
RFK.
Hey, Tuck. That's specifically why I played the debate with Shockley and Welsing last night, because I don't think a lot of people knew what she was actually going up against. Like that's a perfect
Yeah,
example of just
but hold
that's
on,
the guy.
Brad. How they don't know though? How they don't know
Now,
about the times? How they don't know
because a
that?
lot of these people, because the people that are calling these people elders, Tuck, that I've realized in these conversations, we saying we attacking the elders. They don't even know who these elders are or what they did. They don't know nothing about these people. They done like I had a guy tell me white genetic annihilation and melanin theory is true. And then I told him
Ah,
exactly what white genetic annihilation and melanin theory was, and he told me that I was wrong. So I already know they just calling them elders because somebody told them to. Or you got people saying I'm standing on the shoulders, and they don't realize they think that some of these people they standing on the shoulders of
Are midgets.
was is racist, pseudo, and liars. They just
Okay,
saying
Can
it,
but
I
but
can
Brad,
I say
somebody
something
else
they
right
saying it.
quick?
standing on the shoulders of midgets.
Go ahead, Tuck.
Can
Tuck
yeah,
only got a
but
second.
I don't. Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I guess you can because of how egregious some of the shit is. You can
Yeah.
demonize them by the worst shit that they ever said, but I don't know. I could just extrapolate information from a lot of different sources though. But it just seemed like with a lot of the topics, it's just we go to the worst of them and we judge them by that. But I get that's what you're really supposed to do. That's how you parse it out. That's how you
No,
know who we should listen
Hey,
to.
Tuck,
but
hey,
But
Tuck,
Tuck
even
don't
now,
like
hey,
he
hold
don't
on, Lodge.
hey, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
Go
on.
ahead, Lodge.
Hey, Tuck.
Go ahead, Lodge.
Hey, Tuck, is Francis Cress Wilson one of our best?
Is
Oh, good
Francis
question.
Cress Welsing one of our best at what?
Absolutely.
One of our best scholars?
That's tough because you got actual people that put out actual information. Like what Brad showed was her aim. Her
So
aim was
I can't
not.
critique her, but you can critique her.
Let her finish this.
Yeah, because I'm not going to the worst of her. I'm not going to the worst of her and judging her off of that. And just think about this. What if some of these people's family watch this shit? That's what I be thinking about sometimes. If I was related to Dr. Ben, I'd be wanting to know where one of you niggas was at. That's what I'd be wanting to know.
But they
I'd be
somewhere
wanting
in
to know
Puerto Rico, Tuck.
if y'all
Can
was
I can
up.
I can
Y'all
I add something
And
to this?
like,
Rika
I
and
wouldn't
Kenya.
Yeah, they somewhere we don't
care
even.
about the part that y'all was critiquing. I would be wanting to know where you niggas was at. Because y'all done
Man,
said
I'll
some
beat the
crazy
hell out of
shit.
Dr. Ben, folks.
Hey, can I
I ain't
add
gonna.
some?
Hey, Tuck.
And
Dr.
then
Ben
what
folks
have
better not
any
run
of
up
us
on me,
really
Tuck.
done?
You
Dr.
told them
Ben,
to.
I think I heard kid said he was like not telling the
I
truth
was
about a lot of.
laughing like a motherfucker when you said that, Brad. Said they put their hands up, showed me right where to shoot them. I was dying laughing, Brad.
But hey, Tuck, you was laughing, but ain't it the truth? I pray somebody
Hell
run up
yeah.
on me and put their hands up. I'm gonna
Yeah.
shoot you right in
So
the middle of the
can I
bed.
can I say something right
Promise.
quick? I'm sorry. I just got this
You
conversation is
know, we
bothering
the Wild
me.
Wild West down here.
Oh,
Hey, look.
exactly.
And peace to everybody, man.
Peace.
So
What up?
whatever. So the question was asked, was Francis Scott Railson the best of us? And my answer to that is she absolutely was, because like what we're doing right now is we live in a world where everybody got cell phones, we got 5G, it's gonna get 6G, and we're looking back at the people who established dial-up communications and saying, oh, they fucked that up because they can go right here. Technology involved. Technology includes the means and tools of observation. So when a person is in her field fighting against all the oppressive things that are surrounding her and using the information, right or wrong, the information was probably wrong in her perspective, but she was using the information that a racist society of scientific racism put out for her and used that to benefit Black people.
And she did more than we can even imagine for just the acceptance of Black people in these fields. Dr. Ben did, she did, Sheikh Andy Diop, all these people did amazing things, but they did it at a dial-up level. And right now we're in a Wi-Fi 5G type of era doing fiber optics and shit. And we're looking back and saying, oh, you should have did this because we have this now. We have all these tools at our disposal now, all this free access to information. You can find out whatever you want to right now by just going on ChatGPT and asking a question. These people had to go fight to get into libraries, find a book, read the whole entire book, which probably was 80% racism in those books, and then extrapolate information to bring back that it could empower the Black community. And y'all got some fucking gall, some nerve to say that these people are somehow detrimental to our community without even giving it full context. That's why I'm so offended by what y'all are doing, bro. Like, this is a joke right now to me. And like, y'all gotta take that into perspective. And it doesn't seem like people are.
Oh, fuck.
You know what I
Kyle,
did
bro.
with that? You know what I did with that 2020 Google?
Kyle, it's so.
Hold on, can I
And then,
respond to that? You know what I
go
did
ahead,
with that
Sid.
2020?
That was some good firewood,
What I
boy.
did
Go
with
ahead, Sid. Go
2025
ahead, Sid.
Google.
That's it.
In 2025, now that I got all these tools in Google, we looked up people in their time, their contemporaries who did prominent work that we still utilize today, and it's in academia. So all that shit was a bunch of nothing.
That's my point. You don't.
All y'all killing us. All y'all killing us with is emotion. Y'all ain't killing us with y'all. Y'all think y'all. Hold on, Kyle. You did the Harlem Renaissance and in the soapbox. Just give me 2 seconds, bro. You did it. Now I understand you furious, right?
I am, man.
Then you start naming people like Dr. Ben.
Right.
Like,
Straight up lied to us.
that
Straight
ain't
up lied to us.
almost
He
had
know his
me.
real name.
come
But
on,
then you
Kyle.
named Dr. Ben. That's what I
You
was going to
said
say.
Dr. Ben.
You
You
had
talking
me,
about
Kyle.
you mad at us for saying that we don't think Welsing in compared to someone else. We're not having an athletic conversation.
Bro, I
Kyle,
was
because I
just
respect
about
you,
to
let me tell you what I
apologize.
mean. Kyle, let me tell you what I mean
Bobby Hammond.
specifically about stop.
Stop. Y'all gotta stop.
What I mean by Patan here, shouts to you. What let me tell you what I specifically mean when I say the best of us. I do not think I do not what she was. I do think her works were detrimental. But I think when I say best of us, I'm saying there are people the same people that had to fight through those libraries that y'all talked about. I still haven't proven, but the libraries and the German Shepherds and the water, they had to do all of that during that time, fighting the Shockleys that would have got up there, that put their stuff through clinical research, got it into that. So I'm saying that that's the best of the best is the Kenneth Clarks and the Du Bois and the William Cross and the Williams and the Cobb. Those are the best of the best because they realized that yes, go get the doctorate. We don't got to fight racism with racism. We don't got to fight pseudoscience with pseudoscience. That's best of the best. Right below that would be Francis Cress Wells. So it's almost like the statement of I hate Michael Jordan so much I think he's the second greatest basketball player of all time. So I don't see how I am somehow disrespecting her when I say best of the best. I didn't say throw her in the trash. I told you I revere her for her resistance, her eloquence, her grace, her courage, and her education. I'm just trying to. No, you can't. You can go on mute, but because you get making an echo. But when I say what I revere her for, it's like y'all don't hear that part. But I cannot say in 2025 when the people that are pseudos today that I can't stand, the Umar Johnsons, the Polites, the Booker T. Colemans, the Tariq Nasheeds, that are parroting her theory. They may not even know that it came from her, but they're parenting white genetic annihilation and the homosexual thing and the melanin theory to take money out of the community today. So with hindsight and new tools, Zelle, Cash App, and social media, they're pushing her theory. They might not even know her. They're pushing the theory that she put forth though to pillage out of the black community right now.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying now.
Bruh.
I'm not arguing against what you're saying, but it sounds as
your algorithm so fucked up, bro.
All the way
it sounds
fucked
as
up.
if it sounds as if your argument is not necessarily with those people for doing what they had to do in that point in time. It sounds like your argument is with the people current state that are using antiquated arguments and not using the advanced tools of scientific literacy that we have today. I feel like that's what your anger is that those our current generation of people that are pushing things that we have experienced that have been antiquated. Not
and the fact that none of the leaders at any of the time, Kyle,
Can I respond
none
to
of the
that?
leaders at none of the leaders at any point in the conscious community. That's why I say the Benz and them, Diop and Clark and all of them, all the guys in the conscious community at that time, or in that Afrocentric community at that time, they pushed that shit forward. So you know what you get now in the Afrocentric conscious community? The Reggies pushing this stuff forward. Now they might not be pushing the ideas forward, but they pushing the people forward and standing on the shoulders and all of that. So that's how you go from something in the 70s. Hold on,
I'm with you.
last second. So I'll just take 10 seconds. If anybody would have took the stance, a hard stance of saying her theory is cultural and political, but as far as scientific, it is not scientific. It is completely pseudo. It should be used in a cultural and political sense. But you know, they didn't do that. They just made vague terms of calling doctors that weren't doctors. They were pushing these thoughts of saying, yeah, they got a whole bunch of shit wrong, but we stand on the shoulders. That doesn't stop the message from reaching somebody who thinks these things are scientific. Kyle, like
They set the precedent
we trying to
for you to
actually take
make
a
up
hard
shit.
stance.
They set
When
the
a person-
precedent for
when a
you to
person-
make up shit to bypass modern academia, traditional academia, and you can just make up your own shit. They set the precedent. That's why people like them, because they get to go around making up their own shit too.
Yeah, but the thing is, though,
Crazy.
in that point in time, that's what everybody was doing, and it was
No,
a
it's
body
not
of
what everybody was doing. That's what we're
The
pushing.
Shockley
How do
guy
you
was
think I keep
wild.
saying Kenneth and made me? Now hold on, Kyle.
Y'all
There
keep
we go.
forgetting that the
Hold
white
up, hold up.
academia
when I
came
say
down
Just
on
everybody,
explain that part to him, though. You got to the good part, right?
I'm
Explain
using
that.
everybody as a colloquial term. I'm not saying every single person.
Okay.
You have your outliers. I was using a colloquial
and we're not
term. I
saying all
apologize.
quotas were pseudo.
And what I'm saying is the majority of people, like that's what I'm saying. The majority of people that at that time subscribed to pseudo-scientific literacy. And what she did, and she may not have the tools that the people that you was naming had.
But she
access
did.
to.
That's the problem,
She
Kyle.
didn't
She
though.
did.
Kyle,
Kyle, she got her doctorate. Hold on, Kyle. She got her doctorate. Let me just tell you a 2-second story, bro. That's why in this argument, I keep thinking that people think that we think she's stupid. I don't. I think she is brilliant. I'm just trying to figure out how this brilliant doctor somehow one day, from verbatim from her mouth, decided that she was going to skip all the other people and help the functionally from as a child illiterate security guard unlicensed barber Neely Fuller push forward theory and then use some bullshit from somebody else and then create her theories. Like she didn't have that. She was in academia. She actually got a doctorate. She's not like Benjamin. She had an actual doctorate from an actual college university in psychiatry. And then she started talking about biology and genetics, but she knew she couldn't do unless she was going to use a biologist or use a geneticist. But then she skipped all the educated people around her and said her heart took her to a party. And she heard Neely Fuller from across the room say race is a system, and she just decided to start doing it. Now, why would she skip all the educated people in her circle to go talk to an unlicensed barber security guard who was telling people he had a Nobel Peace Prize at the time? Like, he was insane.
That's because she had confirmation bias. Her life experience made her attach herself to a destination of her understanding.
That's fine. Then don't tell me that she did the right thing. A confirmation bias.
I'm not saying she did the right thing.
But you said she didn't have no. Not
she did the right thing.
You said she didn't have the tools. She definitely had the tools.
She
but
didn't
like,
have the
you know what?
tools, bro. You just said she wasn't about.
Hold on.
But you just
credit. Unc made a statement when we had this conversation 3 or 4 days ago. He said her faith betrayed her education. So that's not that she didn't have the tools. Her cognitive dissonance and her faith betrayed her education. She skipped over her education. Y'all, this is not a woman. Listen, I know y'all like the German Shepherd and water hoses and can't get in the library's argument, but apparently she got into a library because she got her doctorate from a university. So that's not her excuse. She had no excuse other than cognitive dissonance or her faith betraying her education. She definitely could have did it the right way. She just chose not to.
You know what my issue is here?
So
My issue
Hold on,
again,
Kyle don't be having a long time to speak. Let him land his plane, and then that'll be it. And then we go to Joey.
no, I appreciate it. So again, like my point I'm trying to make is like the things you're saying are right. The things that I'm saying I feel are right. But the truth lies somewhere in between. So like we need to consider all those different variables and give a lot of these people grace within our community because they did the best. And this is just me personally speaking, but they did the best that they possibly can based on their environment, based on their education level, and based on the societal pressures against them. And so, like, I'm not sitting here saying that what she said was right and we got to push it today. I'm saying that the issue is a lot of people that know she was wrong. The same way I know I'm a network engineer. I know that the best network is not going to be set up with a DSL or a dial-up connection. So if I do that, I'm wrong for doing that, knowing that it's better technology, better ways to handle that situation. But she didn't. I can't say that she necessarily knew because she didn't have training in biology. She didn't have training in genetics. But she had a deep feeling in her heart that was presented based on her environmental circumstances that made her do something to motivate Black people that went through those same exact experiences. So on that point, I can't say she was wrong, but I can say she was wrong scientifically. So these are two separate conversations and arguments. You see what I'm saying?
And guess what? I said I don't blame her, and I fully understand why she did it. I'm just calling out what she did. And now, last land your plane, and answer this question for me. I know you got to go. But would you understand why a hard stance? You can revere her for her resistance. You can say she was elegant, graceful, educated, and all of that. But would you agree that we have to put a hard stance stop on the theories that were cultural and political and make sure people understand they're not scientific? Because would you agree that we probably wouldn't have an Umar Johnson and these people quoting that stuff if she didn't make it a scientist? She was quoting it as science. And even if she didn't know biology and didn't know genetics, she also knew she wasn't qualified to do it. You know, that's part of doctorate training, right? That they teach you when you start putting forth this stuff, that cross-domain violation, you most certainly should not be as a psychiatrist quoting, even if it's interdisciplinary, she still can't use it she can't be an expert on biology and genetics also. It's interdisciplinary in that you learn biology and genetics in it. But that doesn't mean you could just start putting forth biological and genetic shit, just breaking all the rules. She knew that. There's no way, because now y'all telling me that she's dumb. Not you, but the community is now telling me that she don't know no better. And I'm the one giving her the credit that she did know better. She's a brilliant woman. Go ahead, whoever else wants to talk. Thanks, Kyle.
Let me jump in here and say something. I understand all the logic of what you're saying, but I think sometimes you have to get angry. Fist pumping has its place in these conversations. Black power has its place in these conversations. You don't have to be scientific all the time. You can have an emotional response sometimes and say we fed up with what's going on. We can express our anger and outlook. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not in theory.
No. I agree with you, but I'm saying,
and that's all I'm talking about.
Power has its place. And I find to me, everybody wants to. Nobody should agree with when people say based on. And I'm okay with agreeing with people based on Black. I'm okay with agreeing on people based on scientific literacy.
Right.
But sometimes you have to express your anger in these conversations. Just let people know I'm angry about it. F biology, let's have an angry Black man conversation because I need to get it out. Nothing is wrong with that.
No problem at all. Wasn't even mad what she said on TV on the interview. It was pseudo racist, but I wasn't even mad at it because she was standing in front of that. But if you then create a melanin theory and create a white genetic annihilation, you're making an excuse for white supremacy. Like there isn't the like white supremacy, it has a lot of cogs and mechanisms in it that keep it going and keep it in power. We don't need to make up genetic ones. You actually divert resources that you can actually use to address it, the ills that it creates. But then when you say white genetic annihilation and it's genetically informed in melanin theory and color compensation, now all of a sudden you've created a thing that you can't possibly even address. Because now you got people thinking that people are born racist or they're born thinking white supremacy. So now you can't even fight it. It's the same to me, in my opinion, it's the same as when you make a white person that you can address, a white racist in 2025. When you calling them devils and you putting them close to God, you've just turned this guy into a super racist. Like you made it to where it's like, oh, he's a white devil. You know, and you can't even fight it at that point. You can't even address the issue when you do that. No, they just racist. And we can address the symptoms, the redlining, the unfair practices of banking, the unfair practices of healthcare. You don't address white supremacy, in my opinion, ever with more racism. And black supremacy is way worse than white supremacy. Because all we be doing is confirming that if we were in the same position, we do the same thing, which may or may not be true because we all basically human, colored the constructs. But black supremacy, trying to fight white supremacy with black supremacy. So what you're saying, they're wrong, but if we get in the same place, we do the same shit. Aren't we supposed to at least believe, whether it's true or not, that we would do better if we were the power dynamic? So I don't think we're all having the same conversation. And don't lump my argument in with everybody else's. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's powerful. I just don't agree with her methods. And that's just my opinion. And we can't hear you.
I have to understand, Sheikh Entity, I've tried the academic way, and he was still ostracizing black people like you and I who are supposed to be intelligent, still disagreeing with the man after he came with an argument that most of us didn't read. And when we do read bits and pieces, we're trying to say the man just walked up in there with a black fist pump. No, he didn't do that. The people are still disregarding what he said 50 years later. Academia is rigged.
You gotta get a better mic. I can't hear you. I don't know if everybody else can hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear what he said. What did he say? What did he say?
He said academia is rigged, bro. So what do we trust?
Well, at the time, academia was at the time. Now that's not a bad argument for the time. That some of academia. I mean, they had gotten away from drapetomania, and as they changed the rules in the APA, in the DSM, as they updated the rules and they added more of the systemic racism in the criteria for certain theories to become clinical, then yeah, there was a time that during that time they were moving away from those things, and those things weren't considered mainstream consensus or mainstream science. But now we got a way different way. But even during her time, you can't say these things when I could point to theories that were cultural and political put forth by black people in her time. You can't say that academia was 100% rigged. Do I think it was against her? Most certainly. But it wasn't 100% rigged because there were cultural and political theories at the time that were pushed through the same rigor as anybody's theory and made clinical. So that argument doesn't work.
I think it's time to at least read what the universal cultural theory is.
Go ahead. You got a channel. I'm not reading that shit. I'm trying to.
I'm working. I'm using my hand. I'm trying to get.
Yeah. No. I'm saying later. I'm just saying at this point, I just want people, because I hear the pain in Kayel's voice. That's why I always pick on Kayel, because Kayel is actually sensible. We're a lot alike. So if I hear the pain in his voice, then I hear that he don't hear what I'm saying. He thinks I'm actually trying to kill this woman, and that's not the goal. Now, I don't know why you said Francis Cress Wilson and Dr. Ben in the same sentence, well, Benjamin in the same sentence, But I have tiers for scholarship. Benjamin don't fall in that tier. That woman was an actual doctor, a doctor in psychiatry. While I don't agree with her works, she is not Benjamin Youssef. It's not him. Not him at all. Your homie died, you being alive, gas him up. Yeah, everybody, y'all can talk, bro. I'm not.
If you give me a second, I got you.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
but it's just me and you.
Sosa asked who in the conscious community and she's the best. I think we got an answer.
Wait, yeah.
A smart brother said it too.
No, and that's the funny thing. I'm clowning Logic, and Logic was actually right. There are people that think that she was literally the best.
Or among our best. Right? Yeah.
No, I can't argue that. No, I'm saying the best. The best of all. Like, there's tiers to everything, bro. I don't even know how this is disrespectful at this point. I almost want to just do a show and allow people to cuss us out so I could find their argument, because I can't find it. Because every time they keep saying I don't agree with her theory and I know it was wrong, but she had to do it, she had no other option. I don't get that part. That's the part I don't get. Now they're saying Youssef's kids is looking for us and all of that. Man. What are we doing here?
But herein comes the emotional
Bro,
response.
she did it across a 30-year career. Like, we acting like she just
this wasn't
one year and just kept it like, oh yeah, that's how it was back then. Like, no, she kept that shit going all the way to 1990 something, bro, doing seminars and events, and man, come on.
Real.
Yeah, we
made a career out of this.
Yeah, we kind of acting like there ain't a political movement around this area or something.
Joy DeGruy.
Yeah, racial battle too. I mean, post PTSS.
Yeah.
Now y'all just say Joy DeGruy, but what? What about her?
I never been. I ain't too versed in her shit to know for real.
Yeah, I'm versed in it.
Y'all gotta feel
But
me.
what about her? You just said her name. What about her?
About her?
Breaking up, my boy. Whoever that is.
Yo, did they say that in California, or is that something else?
I guess y'all feel the same way about.
Can't make out.
Yes, we all feel that you should have a better connection and/or microphone.
I got chefs.
You got the Njosi mic. You said I got chefs mic. Go ahead, just say it and then go back on mute if you can. I think that's for Ty.
So I was saying y'all must feel the same way about Joy DeGruy. Joy DeGruy, Percy.
No. Mm-mm.
No, why not?
Mm-mm.
One brought up post-traumatic slave syndrome. I mean, I brought those.
Because she used established research.
But it's the same.
She uses. Hold on. You want my answer? I'm about to give it to you. She used established research in trauma, epigenetics, and social psychology to connect historical oppression to current behavioral patterns. Her core arguments overlap with the existing literature on historical trauma and adverse child experiences. So it's more accepted in academic and clinical spaces because her work aligned with existing trauma models and can be integrated into therapy and policy discussions. She's still more of a public intellectual than a prolific peer-reviewed scholar, but she stays within the bounds of established science. Now, I didn't know that. I'm reading this off of ChatGPT, but now I'm gonna give you my answer.
It is like Malcolm versus
Martin.
Bro,
y'all
you
got
gotta
bad.
get a better
It's
connection,
with the worst connections that talk the most.
Well, if you would close,
can't deal with nothing, bro. Your mic,
there it is. I was waiting on it to show up. Shut up. Just quiet down. So, the difference between Joy DeGruy, in my opinion, is that she didn't pull from Neely Fuller and what's the other guy's name? Is it Richard King?
Leonard,
She
yeah,
didn't.
Richard King.
Richard King, right? She didn't pull from something that wasn't substantial. She pulled from actual stuff, like actually scientific stuff. So it's not a, I don't know, man. And I don't want to do the whataboutism because this is how we end up. Well, now y'all killing Joy DeGruy. I don't get it.
Man, it all started off.
I don't
We was
know.
trying to make a distinction between who we felt like was scamming, or you know, or who was just flat out pseudo. Everybody else interjected all these extra arguments, which made us expound on some of these things that we still hashing out right now. The simple
Right.
thing, we was going down a list of different people. We weren't supposed to get hung up on one person. It wasn't the thing. But all of a sudden, everybody stuck their chest out for Princess Cress Wilson, and here we are today.
But
It's about the entirety of not just one person.
and the other difference with DeGruy is she didn't present this shit as biology. Like it was historical, it was psychological, but she didn't present it as post-traumatic slave. Now she used syndrome, which is a scary thing, but she doesn't claim that PTSS is about biology. It's history and trauma. So even if you want to debate PTSS, you're not even debating her. You'd have to debate the history and debate the trauma. It's not built on something made up. Melanin theory is made up. White genetic annihilation, made up. It's all made up stuff. This is a doctorate. I don't care if somebody on a Sinetta panel or pseudo killer panel just starts saying stuff. You don't got to listen to them. You can mute them. Like Patah, you can just mute them. I'm saying that when a doctor does it, they have to be held to a different standard. And we're all qualified to hold a doctor to a different standard if